Okay, so the first thing I'd like to talk about, as I mentioned in the previous video, is how we can pause in these moments of being triggered when an unwanted thought comes in, an unwanted feeling comes in, how we can pause and really just identify what it is that we're feeling or identify the thought. So often we go through our lives just feeling tight and we don't even realize it, that our stomach's been in these knots all day, or we've been holding our shoulders and our neck like this all day and not even being aware of all the emotions that we're feeling, which are temporary, by the way, but our egos, that left brain, rational, logical side, our minds tend to get caught up in them in this drama and create more stories and invent things that don't even exist in our minds. So here's a little exercise we can do. This is based on the concept of RAIN, R-A-I-N, which is an acronym used in Buddhist meditation circles for recognition, acceptance, identification, and non-identification. 4 things. So recognition is really about just recognizing the emotion, as I mentioned a moment ago, just, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling worry, I'm feeling sadness. So you notice I'm not saying I'm worried, I'm angry, because we're just noticing it's a temporary feeling. We're acknowledging through our words, just mentally in our mind, it's a temporary feeling, labeling the thought, which is a powerful way to disconnect from it. It's not something that we have to live with, worry and anger and fear or doubt all the time. It's just a temporary thing we're experiencing. So that's what the recognition is about. And the acceptance is about just saying, I'm experiencing this. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to push it away, which is what a lot of us do. We push it down, and because we don't want to feel this feeling of anger. We don't want to feel sadness. So we just bottle it up, put it away. Does that work? Yeah, in the moment, but eventually it doesn't, because when all these emotions get stored, they start to bubble up and come out in weird ways, like sickness, like chronic stress, like insomnia. There's a lot of different things that can happen when we're not necessarily allowing ourselves to experience our emotions, to feel our emotions. When I read something in the paper, which I try to avoid doing, but when I do read something that's a really sad story, I always take a moment to feel the sadness. And sometimes I even cry if it's something that's really upsetting. And I just feel it. I may say a prayer for the person or the people affected, send them light. And that it doesn't take very long. I just do it for a minute or so until I feel that is washed through me and over me. Because I know that if I bottle up this feeling and I just keep going on and reading the next thing, that it's going to affect me. So we can do that with anything in our lives. So that's the acceptance. The identification is, where is it? Where is that feeling in our body? Where is it in our stomach? Is it in our throat? And what does it, feel like? Is it tight? Is it heavy? You could even label the feeling a little with a word that may come up in this little short meditation reflection. And then that's the identification piece. The last one is non-identification. So seeing that this is here, this is something I'm experiencing, you can kind of explore it, look at it. We become the observer of our emotions, like we're becoming the observer of our thoughts. We are seeing them as if there's something that we're just experiencing, or even somebody else is experiencing, and we're coming at it from this perspective of our higher self versus the ego. And that, when we're looking into the emotion, when we're exploring it, when we're breathing into it, something magical starts to happen and it starts to dissipate and it just starts to go away. You can do this with almost anything. Pain, you can do this with. So let's take a moment to try this little exercise. So closing your eyes. You can do this whenever you're feeling an unwanted emotion or feeling, taking a deep breath. Letting your body relax, shoulders drop, jaw relax. Take another deep inhale, hold for a few moments. And then exhale slowly, letting your body relax even more. And just coming into your breath, just becoming aware of your breath. Noticing the breath expanding in the abdomen, rising and falling with every inhale and exhale, like waves in an ocean. Maybe noticing the feeling of the air as it comes in through your nostrils, travels down your throat, into your lungs, and back out again, a continuous loop. Just noticing. And that feeling, that heaviness that you might be feeling, I feel blank. Fill in the blank mentally, label it. I feel anxious. I feel anxiety. I feel fear. I feel doubt. Whatever it is, I feel worry. Just label that feeling. And see if you can locate where this feeling is. Or maybe it's a thought that you're having. See if you can locate where the thought is coming from, the feeling underneath the thought, if that's what feels right to you. Maybe it's in your stomach, your chest, your heart, your throat. I tend to feel lots in my stomach. So just investigate this feeling. Breathe into it. Send your breath there. See what it feels like a little bit more. What is the temperature there? What is the sensation? Does it feel tight, heavy, like maybe there's a hole? Colors. Just tunnel into it with your mind. Get inside of this feeling. And see if it starts to shift as you do this, if it starts to wane, if it starts to dissipate. Take a deep breath. Release anything that still feels stuck. Notice if there's a shift that's happened, and replace this heaviness or this stuck feeling with some light now. Calling up light, maybe imagining a small candle flicker flame in your heart and expanding that until it becomes a glowing ball of light in your heart. And then imagine this ball of light from your heart spreading through your body, especially filling up that place where you held this stuck feeling. And feel the light creating space and expansion and pouring into that area. Replacing it with a new feeling maybe of peace, freedom, contentment, whatever it is. Another deep breath. And opening your eyes when you're ready. So hopefully you can see that there's something that we can do that didn't take very long to start to shift the stuck feelings. Hope that was helpful in some way.